Hey, how's it going? My name is Jackie Fish, and buckle in, guys, because I have a gnarly replay for you guys today. Not only is this replay 65 minutes long, and I've been told and guaranteed that it is a crazy one, this is also going to be a battle replay from a mission in Age of Empires 2, which is really, really cool. Age of Empires 2, obviously an amazing RTS game, and the players are trying to recreate one of the missions in the game, which is always really exciting. This is also a historical battle as well, as Age of Empires 2 is based off a lot of historical events. So this is the Winter Siege of Drastar in 1278. The peasant czar of the Bulgarian people has risen up against the Byzantines, or I think the Empire of Nicaea, and they are looking to crush their oppressors, and the Byzantine Empire, or the Empire of Nicaea, are looking to crush this Bulgarian uprising. However, they are not alone. We have the Cumans coming in reinforcements for the Bulgarians, and in the mission, I'll stick up some pictures now so you can kind of see a little bit from the positions in Age of Empires. The Cumans have to fight their way through and basically lift the siege of the defending Bulgarian peasantry, and the forces of Nicaea have enlisted the Mongol Empire to help them out, the Golden Horde. So the Golden Horde are bringing a ton of reinforcements to their side, and I believe it's because they were his son-in-law. The Empire of Nicaea's king or emperor had a son-in-law in the Mongol Empire, which he is enlisting to help him out to crush this Bulgarian uprising, which is really, really cool. So yeah, the Cumans are coming in to try and lift the siege of the Bulgarians. The Bulgarians must hold off until their forces can get in, but I mean, look at this, it's not going to be an easy one whatsoever, as the Golden Horde are in between the two reinforcement armies. Kind of imagine this force is a little bit further away than what it is right now. So the Mongols obviously can't just go and attack them, they have to wait until the reinforcements come up. Or maybe they can actually, because they are facing them, but maybe there's a bit of a time limit in this battle. And I was told that this battle goes down to the last 5 minutes as a huge turning point, so make sure to stick around. Get yourself nice and comfortable, get yourself some snacks and drinks, as Apollo would say, and yeah, just buckle in, because it's going to be one hell of a 12-12 replay. And if you guys want to see more of these battles, more engagements like this, let me know in the comments down below by dropping a like and a comment as well. It really, really helps out the channel. So if we take a look, we can actually just stick it on. We'll let the game play for a little bit, because there's no major engagements right now. Just a few of the forces. We have the generals, bodyguards, and the other cavalry circling around, probably relaying information to the Mongols to help them out and get ready for this charge. So the Bulgarians have set up a pretty defensive position right here. You have some heavy spearmen. You also have obviously a lot of these levy spearmen as well. Staying true to the Age of Empires mission, we see a lot of tier 1s and tier 2s in this battle, which is always nice and exciting. So Bulgarians have a very nice spear line defending this outer bridge of the city. Inside, they do have some of these halberds. I really like the new picture for halberds as well. It's really, really cool. Pole infantry. So you've got some halberds out there. They've got a nice inner defense with lots of crossbows. It does seem like they don't really have the men to fully defend these walls, so they're completely giving them up and looking more to defend the inner layer, which is a pretty sensible decision. Outside, the Mongols obviously have their huge cavalry force, which is going to be engaging the Cumans as they try and make their way in to lift the siege. They also have a couple detachments of infantry out here, a bunch of these dismounted auxiliaries, as well as 2 units of bombardiers, or bombards, which are going to obviously just make some holes in the walls, allowing cavalry and anything else to make their way in. So that should hopefully provide them with some additional boost to their attacking forces. And then finally, for the majority of the Empire Nicaea, they obviously have some Varangian Guard, which you can see right here. I believe these are the Anglo-Saxon ones, if I'm not mistaken, which are right here, which are pretty cool. And then I believe you have the other variants somewhere along here. You also have some of the Emperor's Guard. I believe you can only bring 3 of these guys into the battle, so yeah, they're turning up with all force. A bunch of these missiles and some javelins back there, as well as other infantry. You can already see some artillery firing off, and the assault is getting kicked off here as a huge cavalry charge is descending upon the Bulgarian defenders. They have some war dogs being hammered by the Mongolian archers, and a ton of other cavalry cavalry ready up for a charge. The elite men of Bulgaria must hold. This is for the Tsar as the Byzantine cavalry comes flying in there, smashing a huge dent. But the dogs of war are also released. And my God, look at what is going on right now. This is insane. This replay is starting off so goddamn well. I can't wait to see how this one does turn out. So yeah, massive shout out to the players for creating something as awesome, cinematic and competitive as what you guys have done, because this is awesome. So we have the Empire of Nicaea's cavalry charging against, and obviously the heavy knights are going to rip through the levy spearmen that are set up. We are seeing though the Cumans reinforcing this area, looking to get a lot of their horse archers into range against the heavier Russian cavalry over on this side, trying to get some volleys off. The Cumans obviously benefit very much from this initial lighter infantry and cavalry assault, so these horse archers are going to try and be as mobile as possible and basically just try and harass these guys, force the Mongols forward, and the Mongols are going to start pursuing them. However, the Cumans do have the ability to ride and shoot, so they're going to be able to whittle down a couple horses as they try and retreat back. So they're going to just kind of pursue them, but the Mongols don't want to overcommit, as you do have the Cuman infantry line, a lot of these lighter spearmen just being thrown forward, kind of shield, and some extra swordsmen as well helping out. So yeah, the archers are going to be able to chip away a few horses, but again, these are, you know, these are Mongol heavy horses, so not likely to go down without a pretty intense fight, that is for sure. So right now the cavalry charges have been stopped in their stead. However, they're making great progress against the Bulgarians. I also am hoping as well, guys, I have noticed that my mic has been cutting out recently. And I deduced that it's not a problem with my mic, it's a problem with OBS, as I streamed yesterday and it seemed like my mic was fine. So I'm really hoping that there isn't going to be any crazy stuttering in this one, but we'll have to see. And if it does mess up for this replay, then I will really take apart OBS and probably reinstall it, and hopefully that will sort the issue of the mic stuttering. So I am aware of it. Hopefully it's fixed now, because I re-plugged in everything, and yeah, we'll just have to see. And there we go. The Empire of Nicaea have had their cavalry sent back after that initial charge. However, they are just going to rotate in for another very, very aggressive charge. And that's a lovely camera angle right there, as we see the cavalry once again come flying in under heavy missile fire as the Mongols just continue to volley out. But they are also losing a few horses here. You can see a lot of dead horses in the background right there, as they're not, you know, circling up or anything along them lines. The Mongols have now charged in with their cavalry against the Cuman forces, and now they're getting some elite horse warriors going up against one another. Spearmen reinforcing here. Oh, that looks great. That looks really, really good. Oh, baby. Nice, nice, nice. As we go through the trees, and you just see the cavalry detachments moving left, right, and center. I love the look of the Cumans as well, their famous face masks, providing them with a lot of defensive capabilities. But obviously the Mongols are some of the best horse riders in the world, horse warriors in the world, so this is going to be a very interesting fight to see if the Cumans can even break through this position. I would assume they will be able to and help lift up the rear siege, just solely because of the amount of men they have. Obviously, the Mongols and the Kingdom of Epirus have both split up their armies, whereas these guys have committed everything. Speaking of which, we can see that Bulgarians have managed to repel the assault, basically. So I think they're going to be able to fall back in, and it's up to the Mongols to do as much damage as possible. And just look at this, the annoyance of these light horse archers, just able to outspeed their Mongolian opponents. But they also do find themselves getting caught off a little bit, so a few more horses going down. But it's just a lot of horse archers. This is a lot of concentrated fire, and it's going to be very hard for the Mongols to catch any of these guys. Going back, a quick look at the overall siege over here as well. You can basically just see the siege towers being advanced forward. You know, you can see them just being pushed up. They're just basically trying to push these men up onto the wall as quickly as possible. And I think this is where the defenders are going to struggle the most. I think they're going to be fine out here in the open plains. They have a lot of armies out here, very good defensive positions. But I think it's inside the city which is going to struggle, because their men are going to have a hard time trying to kill these mercenaries and the rest of the other infantry. Obviously, with the cannon fire as well from the bombards, it's going to be a difficult fight inside the settlement. And you can also see see the gates about to go down, and obviously just once all these towers start going down as well, it's going to be very unfortunate for them. So we have the auxiliary infantry from the Mongols being pushed up now. The gate has been taken, and taking care of these towers is a pretty good idea to try and initiate that as quickly as possible, because yeah, these can do a lot of damage if they're left unchecked, and obviously clearing the walls is also a great idea. Back out to the main position of firing though, and it seems like this Bulgarian outer defense has actually been very well positioned. Obviously the lighter infantry did get whipped away by the heavier knights, but the decent spearmen managed to repel that charge, and that was just a really cool cinematic experience right there, which I love to see in these battles. I really, really do. I think it, obviously, generally you wouldn't charge heavy cavalry into heavy spearmen, even though there's a lot of cases in 12-12 where you would. But it just looked amazing, and it kind of, fits into the scenario of the battle, which is great to see. And the cavalry did break through and do a lot of damage to these spearmen, so pretty effective indeed. How are the Mongolian horses, though, faring in this overall battle? I know it's quite dark as well. I will put a brightness on in Premiere to hopefully try and make it a bit brighter. I've turned my brightness and my gamma all the way up as well, so hopefully it's not too dark, and I don't have my filter on either. So yeah, I'll try and make it just a little bit brighter and just kind of get you guys more out in the open snow. But obviously it's a dark winter's day. The snow is pouring down. We can see the cavalry moving in the distance, but all of these Cumans have now managed to make their way up here, and they can just kind of take out the rest of the Tartar horses that are moving around. They can either charge them, which I think they're actually going to choose to do, maybe get into combat with them, or maybe their just superior firepower is going to be more than enough to break them down. And this is now going to allow the rest of the Bulgarians, as they form into marching column, to rush back into the city, because now the forces of Epirus and the rest of the Mongolian detachment are pouring in. So getting these other guys into the settlement is very, very important. So they're going to abandon that, and obviously getting the Cuman units inside the settlement as well. Obviously they still have several Mongolians left to deal with out here from the Golden Horde, but for the most part they're going to be okay, and now they can quickly just rush inside of the settlement as fast as possible to sturdy the defenses, as a lot of the outer defenses have now been taken. We're seeing all these towers going down, as well as a lot of other positions. Also, look at the numbers in this battle as well. Just under 20,000 men is crazy. It just kind of makes it some insane battles. It really, really does. And now the Mongolians are making in. Oh, that's kind of cool. The Mongolians do have a gunner unit as well, so they're bringing all their firepower to this battle. They really need to take these towers down, though. Really, really need to get these towers to be destroyed. I think they're trying to avoid getting their men killed as the towers collapse. But yeah, doing that ASAP is very, very important, as more infantry does now pour into the city. You can see them just holding up defensive positions in the tree, trying to avoid any missile fire. And also getting their archers up on the wall is also a pretty good idea. Even though it does leave them a bit vulnerable to incoming fire, they can also exchange very nicely with the Bulgarian archers that are set up on this awesome looking barricade. Actually, that does look very cool as the defenders come up and just kind of push these other positions. Oh, we've also got the bombard moving in, and I think they're looking to destroy this barricade, which is exactly what they do, or at least they're close to doing. I think this barricade, yeah, one more shot and that will go down and allow the attackers to pour through with all of their force. And yeah, right now the Mongolian cavalry is in full-on retreat. I was expecting this battle to go in favor of the defenders, but not as much as it did, and I think it probably took the players a bit off guard as well. I was expecting the Epirus cavalry, the Empire of Nicaea's cavalry to go through and break the defenses up here. I was expecting the Mongolians to kill a decent portion of the Cumans, but they didn't. And now all this cavalry can quickly shift across the river, because there is a river crossing somewhere along here. I think it's, yeah, right here. They can shift across here and start assassinating and just firing shots off on any straggling infantry. I think ideally it would be great to go up against the forces of Nicaea, because they have a lot more infantry. However, the Empire of Nicaea are forming up and taking precautions to prevent that. They have set up a very nice defense right here, and I love how you can just see the siege tower in the distance as well. That looks, this is such a cool looking shot right there. That really is awesome. So you can see that siege tower in the distance as the rest of the forces pour in. And I think this is now the next kind of goal. Seeing that their forces were defeated and the humans have, reinforced, ready to lift this siege, I think it's now very, very imperative that they do quite quickly get their men inside of this settlement, as that acts as another bastion for the defenses. I also really like how these towers have been destroyed. That actually looks really cool along this side. Really, really cool, actually. Yeah, I dig that a lot. But now you can see the forces just pouring in. Also getting these archers and javelins inside the settlement. Get the rest of the Varangian Guard in here. Varangian Guard in here as well is very deadly. So I think these are the Saxons. I can't remember what one's what, because obviously I know there was 3 different types of Varangian Guard. Let me know in the comments which one was what. I'd be very interested to have that educated upon me, as you guys are always great at letting me know if I get anything wrong and just kind of being like, actually it was this, and it's always awesome to see that. We're actually seeing this unit of spearmen being advanced out. I assume it's sick and tired of being shot up from up there, but even still it's probably not going to do too well. It's getting a good charge into the relative side of this unit, but still it's being it's being hit pretty heavily. God damn, I can't speak, and this is only 15 minutes into the replay. It's going to only go downhill from here. But yeah, this unit has ran out. I guess it doesn't want to get shot and it wants to at least do some damage. But I think probably in shield wall, this unit probably would have been good just to tank some missile shots. Also, taking a look at the defenders' missiles, they have a handful actually. So what, 3 units here, and then 4 units of crossbows, and then 3 units of missiles here guarding the crossing that can come in, and obviously any other units as well. So these are actually the archers from the Cumans inside the settlement, which is nice. So I think missile-wise, they have a very decent amount of their missiles. And oh my god, this tower still hasn't been taken yet. This is pretty bad, as these shots have probably racked up, 20, 30 kills. And they're also in a really good position here. These archers should probably just change fire and attack the defenders. Try and keep these towers alive for as long as possible. I think their main focus is up on that wall, trying to take down the Turkic archers. But yeah, taking care of this, and oh my god, these guys are going to lose men, I think. Oh, they lost a handful of men there. So dumb that these towers kill men. It really, really is. And there's no real way to get around it. So right now the archers are opening up, as this archer unit has run out of ammunition. Just going to be looking to soften up some of these high period infantrymen. Just try and weaken them so it's a little bit easier. Because as you can see, the defense itself, even though you have a lot of infantry pouring in, is pretty condensed, right? But the assault, is basically over these streetways and then over this inner layer, which is very, very pushed in. So the attackers have a very nice position to attack, and if they can play well enough, if they can play in the spirit of looking to wound their opponents by simply shooting them, using their missiles, and basically just edging them back bit by bit as the game goes on, this Greek fire unit is going to be so useful, because if you can get it so where the enemy have used most of their missiles, and then you bring these guys up, oh my god, are they going to do some insane damage to the defensive position. So right now they should be looking to try and tire out their opponents. They should be looking to try and get them to start using their missiles and basically just start exchanging that archer fire, so that when you do put up your important units, your hard-hitting units, they're just going to be a lot more effective than, say, if you don't do that. And I think the immediate assault on here is going to be a good idea for sure. I wonder if we're going to get any... Oh, we're actually getting these missiles up on the wall, which is actually not a bad idea, because they can cover a large portion of this street as the attackers go in. I imagine, though, we will see a nice amount of the attackers being brought up here, though, to reinforce. And numbers-wise, it's not looking good for the attackers. The defenders have like 2,000 men in reserve, basically, extra. They are losing more, and I think we'll start to see a big decline in the attackers, in the defenders' numbers. However, it's looking pretty good for them right now. But do keep in mind, the majority of the quality is going to be in the Empire of Nicaea. Their infantry is pretty regularly going to be better, and it's just kind of the numbers really coming into play right now. We will see a lot of these kind of lower period infantrymen, whereas you are seeing some of the best units in the game over on the other side. A lot of these missiles as well are going to be great. You got big numbers. Like, look at this. This unit of axemen have over 300 men in this unit if you include the dogs. So numbers wise, even though it does look a bit, a little bit crazy, the defenders have this much left, they will start to drop as the infantry get stuck in, and they can start to use them numbers. It'd also be very interesting to see the guns set up perfectly down this street. Because again, this is also pretty interesting. As the attackers move in, streets like this are going to become less and less accessible. Because if you break down this street right here, you're going to quite quickly find yourself being able to envelop the forces that will be engaged right here. So it's very, very dangerous for the defenders to leave their men up and over here. We have some nice of these company missiles right now, throwing their javelins in. Unfortunately, not getting a single casualty on that first volley. The second volley is obviously going to be a lot more deadly, taking down 2 there. But oh my god, yeah, this has not been a good volley right away. Here we go, the numbers dropping now. Losing only 11 men to them 2 volleys. That's not great. Hopefully the next one will do. I mean, eventually if this unit uses all its ammunition, it will bring this guy down. But yeah, the first couple volleys not being that deadly. There you go. The casualties really start to rack up now. They need to be careful, though, not to overextend, because we could see a charge coming out. Yeah, plenty of their men now just getting thrown down. The javelins, as the numbers drop, the shield all becomes less dense. And losing over 60 of their men now. Just from this javelin unit who only uses half ammunition. I imagine they'll be changing focus as well under this other unit now. Almost touching. The attackers should really, the defenders should really charge out there. This unit is going to fall back. So they can definitely clear out this defensive position, which again is going to leave this defensive position kind of vulnerable. Siri, no, I don't care. Go away. Don't need you. Your help in this replay whatsoever. Definitely don't. Oh, and look at this. We have the Cumans with their horse archers moving up here, looking to try and soften up this assault, but I can't imagine they're going to find a way through. This is a defensive testudo of heavy spears, and I think they have pikes in there. There's no way they break this defense at all. They're going to give it a go. The cavalry charges are probably going to try and come across. There's no real other way, unless they want to go into the city, of breaking this down. We're also seeing some of the archers as well, providing some extra firepower, which is very cool to see. Up on the wall, utilizing every bit of terrain to their advantage. And they're going to be racking up a couple kills there. Every less archer kill, or every archer kill is one less bowman shooting at them, so they have to respect that, they really do. As we're getting more of the Rust Mercenaries charging forward in all their glory, getting their money's worth. And as you can see, numbers-wise, they are doing a pretty good job. I believe these guys were pretty wounded to begin with. Before charging in, they were around about half strength, so they're definitely doing their job at softening up this assault. And I think quite quickly we're going to see, more men being dispatched out here. But definitely I think we're going to start seeing a lot of their numbers dropping. And yeah, I mean, look at that. Both these units are very low on numbers. And right now, this unit of the company right here are receiving missile fire, but they're out of ammunition now, so they're not really that good of a unit. They could rear charge this unit of swords as well. But right now, they're just absorbing some shots, so they're more than happy to do that. We also have the Emperor's Guard here getting stuck in. And it is quite dark. I do know that. I will, obviously, as I said, turn up the brightness a bit in post, hopefully. But yeah, you know, sometimes the dark battles of Attila are just dark and gritty. But hopefully you guys can still make out what's happening. I know it's normally not that bad. You know, it's mainly people who watch on phone, which is actually surprisingly more, like over half of you guys watching on your mobile these battle replays, which is always pretty interesting. So I will try my best to make it as bright as possible for you guys, but sometimes battle is just a battle. We have another unit of infantry being advanced forward in their shield wall, looking to reinforce. However, the archer fire is raining down upon the archers back there. But yes, they don't obviously want to give this up anytime soon if they can help it. The longer that these defenses hold, the more likely it is that they're going to win this battle. As the reinforcements come in, the archers can use all their ammunition, as there is a buttload of men still in here. And also something to keep into account as well, a lot of these Cuman infantrymen are light spears. So this is like, you know, 1,000 men here, well, not quite 1,000, but this is a lot of infantry right here, which aren't really that good. You know, they're okay, their numbers, they'll act as, you know, place units to absorb missile fire and stuff, but the Emperor's Guard will cut through them like butter. So, you know, again, a lot of these numbers are kind of deceptive. And now the archers are coming in as well and doing some decent damage there, making breaches right off the bat. And they obviously have a lot of their missiles to fire. You see pretty dense battle here for the Rust Mercenaries. I love the look of the Rust Mercenaries as well, because they're not using like more swords. They're using like axes, maces, hammers. They're using great like late game weaponry to break away this armor. You know, to really just try and pierce that plate or that chainmail, rather than more of a nimble sword, which I think is just really cool. But more infantry being advanced up here, and they'll slowly grind away at this, you know, bit by bit. Obviously, the archer fire coming in on both sides is pretty important. So if we take stock of this battle really quickly, we can get a good idea about what's going on. So on the right flank, the Cuman cavalry is trying to kind of soften up this assault, but I don't think it's going to be very successful, honestly. I think it's going to be almost impossible to break through here, and what we might end up seeing is just a full on hope cavalry charge, you know, the charge of a light brigade into these spears and pikes to try and do something, or we're going to see, you know, them just falling back into the city. And honestly, this isn't a bad thing to have happen, because they're basically taking up, what, you know, 6, 7, 8 units right here from the Empire of Nicaea outside of the settlement that could be being used inside. You know, they're taking catapult ammunition, they're doing a lot out here. And these units are really fast and mobile, so they can get into the city pretty quickly. But they also just don't need them inside the city, because if we take a look at it, you can see the Empire of Nicaea are attacking 3 positions right here. This one right here, this one right here, and then this one with the help of the Mongols. We've also got this unit out here, or this detachment out here, but these guys want to be kind of slow in their assault of the city, because they don't want to attack whilst there's units behind them, where they can get enveloped here and here. So slowly approaching here, I think this is where the majority of their missiles are. And they're just going to kind of sit back here and, you know, pick away. It does seem like some of their handgunners, though, have been caught out by this unit of archers who are out of ammunition. So that's pretty nice of them. You know, being able to kill maybe a gunner or 2 from that unit is going to be perfect. And then they can obviously utilize that to their advantage when it comes to just focusing more missiles down. A lot of the archer fire, though, is going into the inner layer, and I think their main focus is trying to kill these pikemen, and they're having some pretty good success. This unit's down to 120, and the spear unit is also down to 120 as well, so they're slowly chipping away at this unit, and obviously the smaller it is, the more effective that is going to be. I think they've also got a lot of cannon fire and other missile fire. I think the gunners were ripping apart these guys, so you can see their spearmen are dropping down as well. Yeah, the bombards are now out of ammunition, which is nice of them. But yeah, I mean, the attackers, their quality is showing, you know. They don't have the quantity against the peasantry czar, but they definitely have the quality, and that's really starting to show. As you can see, breaks are starting to occur in all of these positions along the defensive position. Oh my god, there we go. We've got a cavalry charge coming off. They're going in right now. Obviously, recklessly, but the Wrath the Ruin, the World's End, going in against the spear. We're trying to break something up, which looks very, very cool indeed. The artillery is still going out as well. And these are a lot of the lighter horses, so it's not necessarily bad losing these guys. You know, it doesn't really matter too much. I think maybe they're trying to get a cheeky general snipe out here, but the shots are just going so far off that they can just fall back now. And the cavalry is just trying to, I mean, and again, I say that they've also done a pretty good job at softening up this assault, you know. Light human horses have managed to chip away a lot of HP here. And as we've seen, the HP is kind of like a cumulative thing, right? It takes a while to start killing units, but when you start killing them, you really start to kill them. So these charges have actually been pretty effective, just racking up the rest of these couple units with some pretty cheap horse archers. And now the heavier horses can come up for lancers, who are probably going to be able to break through. If they focus all their cavalry into this gap, I think they could quite easily break through this inner unit and just envelop. And then maybe even dismount wouldn't be a bad thing. Dismounting your horses and going in with just heavier shock infantry is not a bad plan whatsoever. We can see the Greek fire very much being protected right there. We've also seen a unit. Yeah, this unit has broken. That's awesome. So that's going to allow these guys to push further forward. And I think that's going to send the Bulgarians in basically a full-on retreat into the inner layer, the inner defensive position, and basically holding these other choke points. They've got one defensive position right here, one here, and obviously this street where they're going to fall back as well. But they have a handful of these Moldovan warriors who aren't like elite warriors, but they're okay. They'll do okay at slowing up the attackers, but they're not going to win any prizes for, you know, killing the sergeants of the Emperor's Guard or anything along them lines. But, you know, there's numbers, you know, it's a decent amount of men that can reinforce and push forward. The thing that's worrying me the most, though, out of this entire battle, is that the defenders are running kind of low on ammunition. These guys are almost out. This unit has half, which is nice. The bowmen up here, I guess, are fine, but these aren't the best archers in the world. And we only have 2 units left there. I mean, how are the attackers looking? I feel like the attackers have a nice amount of missiles still left remaining. They also have that Greek fire as well, which is so goddamn good. And oh my god, that's a huge break right there. It's going to allow this unit of swordsmen right through this gap. Peasantry spears could not hold. Then they came back, so they're going immediately back in, but it might just be a bit too late. As we are seeing, no, luckily these guys didn't go all the way around, and the peasantry spearmen are going to be able to plug that gap once again, as the arrows just continue to range in, and, you know, every kill does really matter in this battle, so having them, you know, kind of archers just firing long range is still going to be picking off a character or two every so often, which is nice. We've also got infantry charging up against here. The guns are being very risky, moving into almost point-blank range there. Yeah, it's crazy, but I mean, they are very effective at point-blank range. They're going to be able to kill a lot of these spearmen with them volleys. That's going to really soften up this attack. But they're basically suiciding these guns, and look how much ammo they have. I don't know if this was a great idea to commit these guns like this, because, yeah, you're going to break this defense a lot easier, but you've just lost these guns. They had probably had 100 units in them at one point, and now they're not going to have any. So that was, yeah, that's quite careless with the guns, honestly, but obviously the players were going for a quick break here, maybe trying to catch them off guard. So you've got to respect that. And I mean, for the most part, their archers have done amazing breaking up the defenses up here. And they've killed a lot of these spearmen, which is super nice. Really, really nice to kill basically all the spearmen who are going to be the holding forces. And now it's just like a brawl with it's just like mainly just swordsmen and the Cuman missiles. Yeah, the assault was repelled, which is great to see. It was really cool to see the charge come in as the bodies of horses pile up. It was cool to see that, especially because, you know, this is a scenario battle. But now the rest of the cavalry, you know, after at least trying, they're going to fall back, and they're probably either going to go the other side or into the settlement. And they could still utilize that inside the settlement by going through this area here, going down. Oh, it's actually barricaded, so probably not. So I think what we'll see is they'll actually go all the way around to the other river crossing and then through, which will exhaust them and take a lot of time, but will definitely be worth it in the long run, as more infantry are being thrown up. And you can see the balance of power actually shifting slowly into the favor of Nicaea. Bit by bit, it's edging back to that center point and then into their favor, I think. As I was saying in the beginning of the battle, the quality is hugely in favor of the Empire of Nicaea. The numbers can be very deceptive. And I'm super excited to see how this one does turn out. You know, another unit has broken from all that missile fire and just the high quality of the Rus mercenaries and also the Emperor's Guard. You know, they're making ground, and they're having to commit, you know, archers who are out of ammunition already to this battle, basically just to try and slow up their opponents. Which can always, you know, always mean one thing, is things are looking a little bit desperate. I mean, obviously right now I think they still have a very good chance of winning this, especially if this cavalry can get around the side and do some crazy stuff. But the nice thing is that, like, these defenders could pour in a decent amount of infantry inside the city. You know, they're kind of almost saving their pikes towards the end of the battle, where the enemy don't have many archers left to kill them. So by positioning them out there, it kind of, you know, does two things. It protects this river crossing, but also keeps your pikes relatively safe to bring in. They also have this artillery piece as well they can use to bombard the enemy. They have this unit of Greek fire, which I'm really looking forward to using. And as I said, if they don't save some archers for it, that Greek fire unit is going to rack up a lot of kills. And all of a sudden, yeah, we're seeing a quick rush here by the Bulgarian, or by the Cumans even. Then they're noticing that this is a huge problem right here. Because if this breaks, it completely jeopardizes the defenses right here. Really, really massively. So they're throwing over a lot of their warriors here, looking to defend these streets because, yeah, they're losing this position, but if they lose this entire section, these infantry units which are defending here and here are also in a very precarious spot as well. So we're seeing them fall back very quickly and just looking to plug any of these gaps. But right now, that quality is huge. Some of the war dogs are also being sent off into combat. I think their dogs have already been unleashed, and now the axemen are being thrown in to reinforce them. Oh my god, it just looks so cool. It's quite dark, so it's just like blobs of infantry scattered throughout the formation. Really, really cool stuff. Love the axe models, obviously, in 12-12, but always amazing. Looking great indeed. A lot of the archer fire just coming in, ranging in on these big blobs of infantry. The fire arrows actually helping, because the Bulgarians are, you know, a peasant force. Like, they have like some good men, obviously, and then some peasants. The fire arrows actually do help out by lowering the morale of them units. Oh, actually, we could see the Cumans come into the settlement here, utilize that, and then just come and hit. There's not really a big defense here whatsoever, right? So they could catch these archers off guard. Obviously, the guard right here could come back and help out, but them heavy lancers could rip through these guys fairly easily. So I think they're going to get their energy back, and then they're going to go in for a deadly charge in this section of the battlefield. I think that's going to be pretty scary. And you've even got these horse archers just acting as a deterrent here to basically be like, bro, if you move these units inside the city, I'm going to go for them. I'm going to go right through this gap and just continue to harass you. Which I think is a cool setup as well. But yeah, we are seeing some units being brought inside now. Some of the spearmen are now being sent in. And also a unit of pikemen as well. Just looking to basically reinforce this position. You know, I think it just looks so cool, man. That's probably the thumbnail right there. Seeing the spears, the infantry, the siege towers, the broken down defenses. Really cool stuff. So there we have, this position has been broken, and we've seen the defenders kind of give this up. Wow, really? They're bringing them back? I guess they had to bring up a unit of infantry to reinforce this, but right now, this is very, very sketchy, because these attackers could come right into the back of the defenders here. Obviously, it's maybe what they want to, but this is actually maybe what the defenders want, looking at it. They want to kind of create this death box, because they have 3 units of archers up here with all ammunition left. Which can just obviously fire into here. They have a very nice defensive position guarding their missiles here and here. So even though these guys will push into the city, they're going to kind of run into the range. And now we are seeing this unit come up as well to kind of block this entrance, which again is a pretty smart decision. So this could be a killing zone for the defenders. And they're going to probably use this unit of archers as well to guard this. So, like, for example, this unit of Varangian Guard is pretty scary, because I think the missiles pretty ranged to just in front of them, so if they charge into that unit, they're going to get hammered in the back. As they come around this corner, the archers who are now out of ammunition will probably get stuck in as well. So this is a risky move. Like, this is going to be very deadly for the attackers to push in. And I want to see these archers start shooting. Oh, actually, maybe the archer range is like this line here, which I guess these guys are going to just about get out, but they're pretty tight. No, there you go. Oh, that archer volley first going in. Racking up no kills, but again, reducing them for the next volley. And yeah, there you go. The marchers are now opening up. Very deadly stuff. I think these guys are just out of range now, which they kind of got pretty lucky about. But here we go. A brutal charge in the streets. The defenders forming up that shield wall. And then the axe is going in. Trying to kill as many on that charge and slowly grind away here. But oh my god, look at that, the unit of archers with light human missiles, and now got behind them with their awesome looking dreads as well. Look at that. But man, that's going to rack up a special kill. Like, this unit of archers is going to die regardless, so getting a couple kills on an expensive unit like this is very nice. Very nice indeed. The infantry pile is still going in. The mosh pit of men pushing back and forth. But again, they're slowly running out of ammunition, you know. These guys are going to drain their arrow fire pretty quickly up on that wall. In their pretty heavy infantry. And then what we're going to have, you know, we're going to have 2 units of crossbows up here. And I think that's when we're going to start to see the Greek fire being advanced forward. I'm also very much looking forward to this cavalry charge coming out of nowhere. And just hitting these guys in the back and completely surrounding them. Yeah, there's a lot of archer fire going up. So how much archers? They have, what, 2 units? I think these archers would maybe be better spent shooting up the crossbows, because these guys don't have shields, but in loose formation, I can completely understand why they don't want to shoot them, because missiles versus missiles kind of just grind away at each other and don't really achieve too much. It's like, my missiles kill your missiles kill my missiles, and that's about it. These crossbows have a perfect view over the battlefield, though. They can shoot these Emperor's Guard in the side and from above, which is going to be very deadly. We're also shooting these guys who have got around the flank as well. So we're going to take down these auxiliaries extremely quickly from the Mongolians. And they can also maybe start to shoot these other missiles as well. However, the Varangian Guard proving its worth this day. Really, even though they are surrounded, they're just some of the strongest units in the game. Then poleaxes and huge weapons. They can not only pick away enemy positions, they can also slaughter lightly armored units. And that's going to send this unit completely running for the hills, which again opens up a very nice defensive move right there. Oh, but look at that, we're getting a cavalry charge. Vazar himself has sallied out the defenses, and he's going to look to break this unit of infantry, and the Rus mercenaries are running once again away from this battle, and now the archers are now being chased down. What a move here by Vazar's bodyguard, and there's not really a lot of infantry in close proximity, so that was a really nice move there. However, the defenders are looking to get themselves enveloped as the Varangian Guard does come flying in, and that's going to really surrender the rest of these Moldavian warriors. You can see the attackers throwing in some of their missiles now as well. So pretty deadly stuff. However, the cavalry is coming around, and they're going to go flying into the back of this unit of missiles, along with the general's bodyguard. So I think this is the son of the Mongol leader. Yeah, because it was his brother, it was his son-in-law or brother-in-law that helped the Empire of Nicaea out. And I think he was the son of the Khan. Which was, yeah, so he's getting stuck in now. I mean, obviously he's a very strong unit with the support of the other infantry. He'll probably be able to repel this cavalry, but there's a lot of horse, right? I mean, again, this cavalry could look to go around. I mean, obviously they're moving in, looking to get a kill on the general's bodyguard, and his numbers are dropping fairly quickly. And he's going to have to fight for his life in this battle. Again, apologies, it is pretty dark. Hopefully I've made it brighter so you guys can see a little bit better. Yeah, men are dropping from that general's bodyguard unit, and if they continue to commit more horses to this, I think they've got him, and there's not really much the Mongols can do. Granted, the Mongols don't really have much left in the way of infantry, so it's not a big loss to the attacking effort, because they only have a handful of infantry here. It's mainly the Empire of Nicaea who have the men left remaining. But still, it's forcing soldiers back. These guys are having to worry about any more cavalry charges coming in against their missiles, against any other men they have. Oh, and the general has managed to escape, which is pretty big, as the missiles continue to fire against this upper layer. I think they're trying to kill the crossbows now, which I think is a perfect idea to do. And this old outer position is now being broken down, but Vazar is going in once again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. This Tsar's bodyguard has gone in, recharging his infantry once again. Not faring as effective as last time, but still has some good kills on the back of this infantry unit. And I love the look of this Tsar's bodyguard as well, with their unique shields and lancers and stuff, which is pretty cool. So yeah, this is pretty deadly. A lot of artillery going in as well. I wonder why they're trying to kill these missiles. Missiles are kind of out of ammunition. Maybe they're trying to burn more of this area. But yeah, it seems like a little bit of a waste of the artillery, which would be better spent like shooting these polearms or something else if they could get a bit closer. But maybe they're just trying to use that ammunition up, and a lone shot here and there is always nice as well. And again, do remember, they do have more men here. They're bringing in another unit of these spears as well. I mean, realistically, these guys aren't really that scary, so they can just slowly trickle in these men, so I think they'll be pretty safe there. They just need to try and repel the cavalry, and that's basically what they've done. That cavalry acted as a huge nuisance for the defenders. Like, that was pretty important at tiring them out, and, this position is dropping down as more infantry does get committed to it. And the defenders are running lower and lower on men. I mean, so are the attackers, obviously, but as you can see, that balance of power bar has shifted again an inch back in favor of the attackers. I think it's pretty even right now, with the artillery rounds coming in and also the numbers almost being equal. I think the attackers are going to really start to, start driving home that advantage. And they still have that entire Greek, that entire Greek fire unit as well. Once again, though, the attackers are letting themselves being enveloped in this position. This is just a death street right now. These archers are overstaying their welcome. They just need some infantry to pour in here. But they had to commit more and more out here to kind of scare off this horse.
The men have thrown down their
Yeah, they really need more infantry over here to help push in. Because, I mean, there's really not a lot left, right? There's really not a lot left for either side. Like, taking stock of things. Like, both sides have committed the majority of their men to this fight now. Besides like the infantry stuck out here, which you can see again, units are slowly being brought back as they realize they need more and more men over here. So like, yeah, this one's going to be very close. I could see either side taking this one home, if I'm honest, because that Greek fire can get 300-400 kills. That's a huge swing in the battle. These javelins can do a lot of damage. The attackers are, I mean, the defenders are almost out of ammunition, so that's going to be pretty bad for them. So the battle now does draw into the under 20-minute mark. So every casualty at this point in the battle is just going to be absolutely huge. And I think we're going to start seeing the defenders just having to pull back. They just don't have the manpower now to really commit to these defenses. I think, saving these 2 units of infantry back inside the settlement is a good idea. Bringing your archers back down is a must. And yeah, it's just going to be a brutal last stand. I think it's going to literally go down to the last couple men on either side. I mean, that's what they said it went down to. It was a very close endgame. I definitely agree with them. I mean, the attackers don't really have much missiles themselves either. I mean, look at that as well. That's going to open up these 2 infantry units to come flying into the back of this blob and probably end that. We're seeing a few units of hook pikes in loose formation and stuff. Some halberds, which are going to be brutal to try and break through. That's obviously why the defenders have the attackers have kept their pikemen to this point to push up. They still have their Greek fire. Besides that, though, the attackers only have a handful of ammunition left, some artillery as well, that has been brought inside the settlement. Where's their secondary artillery piece? Over here, which is out. Yeah, so they have a couple shots left, which are going to be good on the hook pikes. But yeah, this is going to be brutal. There you go. Yeah, look at that. A huge break right there for the defenders. Going to have to commit some more men here, but they're having to give up this ramp. They're obviously still going to hold this ramp, but also probably going to not need to defend this. I mean, here's an interesting decision. There's still some cavalry fluttering around. Oh, it does seem like the Emperor's bodyguard has scared off the rest of the cavalry and pushed back the Cuman general as well. So, I mean, this cavalry could still come in and cause some nuisance. They're still holding 3 units of infantry here. But I'd be very, very excited to see if the attackers decided to push anything around this side and basically go for a free prompt attack, because the defenders don't really have a lot, to cover every single exit. If they're committing a big bunch of infantry here, that could be pretty deadly. But also, I guess it's not like the attackers have a lot covering this exit either, so this could also be pretty scary. And using these volleys on some archers who don't have ammunition left, this is amazing for the defenders. We're seeing that balance of power actually shifting for the first time in favor of the attackers as well. Oh no, they don't get that secondary shot off, and now they're going to be stuck into that fight, probably having to get out of loose formation and dive in. And I imagine these archers will win against the human missile force, but still, there's going to be a unit just to cut down their manpower, and there's not really any infantry. I really should see the attackers pushing in now. I think we're seeing the attackers bring around their general as well to help kill these missiles, which is a good idea. And we're also going to see the final assault really get kicked off here, with the infantry moving into position and preparing themselves for a epic charge. But these hook pikes are going to be scary, and we do still see ammunition left for the defenders. Not a lot, but still some, which again is going to probably want it to be used before the other units come up. Look at that, the artillery again using some shots, which I think might have been better used just to save that. But the general's bodyguard moving up. We've got the Mongolian general moving up, and right now the Mongolian general can be pretty risky on these charges because it doesn't really matter if he dies, because there's hardly any of them left in that unit, and also the Mongolians only have 2 units of infantry, so that morale hit to him is not going to be bad. And here we go. These are the money shots I want to see. Or just that's not a bad one. That ripped for a few. They could get a really nice bouncing shot by that. It would just kill so many of these guys. So yeah, this is where the artillery is going to be used, and probably, you know, it's going to be make or break right there. There we go. Another charge going to come in. Some of the lighter infantry are going to try and bop and weave between them pikes. And some men are coming back as well. Oh, this tower is actually in range. We're actually getting the rest of the cavalry being brought in side the settlement. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw all of these guys now. Just one last commitment, you know, one big push to try and break through. As we're getting more of the other human spearmen thrown into these sides to kind of, again, just act as a deterrent. Try and box in the attackers as best as they can. And I imagine these Emperor Guards are going to be catching their breath quickly because they've been fighting pretty hard already. And then they're going to go in for one epic charge, and it should break through them fairly nicely. The pikemen are being advanced now as well. Again, the pikemen shouldn't really find themselves with too much problem against these lighter human spearmen. Obviously, an advance is going to be very important as you see them pikes just dip down, ready to strike at their opponents. Not quite being committed yet, just holding. The humans, as far as the humans, I'd slowly be backing up right now. And that's exactly, I love it when I say that and they do exactly that. The humans just falling back, other positions they can try and defend. And again, they're trying to create a nice little death trap here. They're trying to catch the attackers off guard. And they definitely can do this. Like, these two units could quite easily find themselves surrounded. If these guys come up and engage them, this unit could then hit them. These archers could come back and hit them. They need to be very careful. Even though these are light infantrymen, they're not very good spearmen. They can still surround and wear down the other units very nicely. We've also got a big push in. Oh my god, look at this. The attackers have managed to get around the side here of this position and immediately charging this unit of crossbows, which is huge. This unit of crossbows has so much ammunition left. I think their unit is going to go down, but they might be able to take down 10, 15 of these crossbows before that does happen. And we're going to get a large break there by the attackers. The cavalry is coming through here now as well to rear charge. Even though the attackers have taken the upper hand and the numbers are in favor of the attackers, I think we're going to get some pretty brutal casualties coming up as the cavalry form up for a deadly charge, which is going to be pretty catastrophic for them. That's going to really hinder morale, even though the morale is solid. That's going to still hurt them up, but maybe that quality is just going to really shine through here. Oh no, look at that, the morale is dropping. So if they can push this and break 2 units of infantry right here, that's a lot of men. That's 150 good infantry here. I think they're going to go for another rear charge, or maybe look to try and take on all these archers. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. The cavalry right there for the Mongol prince has now gone down as well. So he has been slain on the field of battle, which is going to be sending the rest of the Mongolian force into a rout. Not that there's much left of them. And really, the only thing we have left for the attackers is obviously this infantry outside the settlement, a handful of missiles, and this Greek fire, which is going to be very deadly and is taking some missile fire right now. So they need to try and maybe commit these guys to a fight or pull them back, because, yeah, you do not want to lose these guys because they will do so much damage. And yeah, look at that. The 2 units have now broken, and that's amazing for the defenders. I think that's going to shift the favor of this battle in favor of them. And realistically, the Kingdom of Nicaea need to bring in the rest of their infantry, as the Mongolians are now broken, they are battered, and they are no longer on this battlefield. So I think the defenders have definitely taken the advantage right now, but it's just whether or not they can drive that advantage home, because they don't really have the best men left. They do still have these polearm infantrymen though, which is nice. The guardsmen are going to be huge, as they've still got a pike unit here. And again, we're going to really have to see how this fire unit does do. We do have some cavalry coming in just to rally the men here. And I imagine this cavalry Emperor's Bodyguard will go into the back of these 2 units of archers who are fighting. Just clear them off, get rid of these 100 or so men. That are on the battlefield. Yeah, I think we'll see them going down pretty quickly. But yeah, there you go. The entirety of the Mongolian army has now just fully gone from the battlefield. Still not seeing them 3 units of infantry being moved up, which, as I said, is I'm really surprised in. I would have assumed they would have started marching already, and just getting inside, because them 3 units of infantry could be the difference between winning this battle and losing it. The cavalry charge coming in now for the Emperor's General. That should be more than enough to break these guys as the casualties rack up. As they are simply just human spearmen like that. Look at that, yeah, the numbers have dropped. Their flanks are exposed. And they'll be ridded of this battlefield pretty quickly. The archers have now gone as well. But yeah, this death trap has paid off really well for them. It's kind of opened up and exposed the flanks for a large portion of the attacking forces. And now more Varangian Guard are being pushed up, but a lot more men are also being pushed up. Yeah, honestly, this battle could still go either way. Numbers are really even. The defenders have it, but again, a lot of their men are these lighter human, you know, spearmen and stuff, which, you know, they just lost another 100 men from their roster right there. If the infantry can just get stuck in here, like if they just cover a Varangian Guard unit here and a pike unit here, they basically deal with this entire section, and that's, you know, a decent amount of men right there being rid from this battlefield. And then it's just the eternal grind to get through these guys bit by bit. I mean, luckily they've broken the pikemen now with missile fire, which is about to run low now, actually. Then they can go in and start working on these polearms. I'm surprised we haven't maybe seen these Greek fire units being pushed up yet and to deal with the guardsmen. We might see them go up. And also, look at the bodies as well, piling up along this city. I mean, what a brutal battle. It feels like an age ago that this fight was happening outside the settlement. It really does. And, like, that initial beautiful charge was just crazy. That was so cool. Now we're seeing the rest of the men moving around. They basically just need to act as two basins here, and I think they'll be fine. It seems like the Greek fire is going to come up and deal with these guys, which is interesting. I thought the priority would be to kill the halberds, but maybe they're looking just to try and break these huge numbers and open up that additional flank, because right now this one choke point is going to be brutal to break. However, them crossbows are obviously immediately going to be focusing them in a great position right there. Every shot that can find their mark will be going after them. You can see their numbers are already dropping down to 35 now, which is, yeah, pretty deadly. And I think they've realized the error of their way and falling back. I mean, it's so hard to use them effectively because they are just such a focus. And the enemy do still have, the defenders still have a very nice amount of missile fire left remaining. So maybe just YOLOing them in would be a good idea. Yeah, I don't know, honestly, it's a hard decision to use these guys. They go down to 26 men now. 25 men, and they haven't fired a single shot right now, which again is just so sad to see. And doing exactly what I said should happen right here is always great. You're setting up that defense, but these archers are still volleying in this kill zone of the battlefield. I think the defenders have this battle, honestly. They're now finally bringing in their last 3 units of infantry, but again, they have been completely enveloped here, and if they can break this unit of 100 men with this horses, which they did, that's insane. That's so good for the defenders. And I think everything's just coming up Millhouse now for the defenders. I really do. I think the attackers just are running out of steam. This Greek fire was really their saving grace, but I think the defenders just have the number advantage. But Bant's power is still not showing that. And oh my god, what the hell are these Greek firemen doing? They're charging in. Why are they going so deep? Fall back, boys. I don't know what they're up to. As another unit of halberds come up here and get ready to dive themselves in. Them Greek fire units, they're falling back now. They were just suiciding. I guess they were maybe trying to shoot something they couldn't. And yeah, now they're down to 17. Oh man, that's unfortunate. I feel for the Epirus player. I really, really do. He must just be having some hard time trying to pathfind them in. But yeah, I think it's looking like the defenders have this one. But maybe these Greek fire are just gone. That's just so unfortunate. They couldn't really shoot these guys. I imagine it was like part pathfinding and part just, you know, not being able to really get them stuck in. The fresh units are turning up now, which is nice. But with only 6 minutes left now, the attackers have 1,600. The defenders have 2,000. And they still have, like, you know, ammunition left. They still have halberds. They still have infantry. And the attackers just don't really have the manpower to break this. They still have these archers firing up over here as well. I think this is like probably the deadliest thing right now because they can shoot the heavier the heavier two-handed weaponry units right here, the heavy shock infantry in the back, and that's just going to bring them down bit by bit. So the numbers proving their worth. However, the poor quality of the human spearmen is shining through, so maybe they can get around, but again, I fear they're just going to get enveloped by this cavalry, and as they're getting shot more and more now as well, I really, really don't know who's going to take this battle down. And you can even see this unit of halberds is being pushed up as well now. The cavalry are looking to get stuck in. Yeah, and look at this. The defensive position just shining through right there. A pretty juicy cavalry charge there, pinning the Varangian guard into the wall. And then the archer fire coming in as well from up there. And now the halberds going in as well, setting up to deal with them. We've got some spearmen out here helping out. Yeah, and this big blob is going to go in their favor as well. I think that's going to be the battle right there. If we just triple speed through the last, couple bits unless anything interesting happens, I think we're going to see the defenders. I mean, that's going to be a pretty deadly charge though into the side of these Cuman spearmen. Oh my god, I killed so many of them that charge. It's going to break them as well, probably almost immediately. I mean, how many kills did this unit get just from that one charge? 30 kills? The pikemen are going up as well to try and scare them off. I don't think they're going to break this unit, though. Yeah, they managed to break that unit. These towers are still shooting.
Broken and are fleeing.
Yeah, I just don't, because I don't see this breaking through whatsoever. And that just frees up so many men for them to just basically dispatch them elsewhere. They did manage to break, these Cuman spearmen are probably going to go down, but then, how are they going to be able to break through everything else? The pikemen are going down as well. The cavalry are ensuring that these guys definitely get broken. And then what do they have left? They have a couple units of spearmen, a unit of pikemen. I mean, maybe there's a chance. Numbers are pretty even, but I just don't really see it playing out too well for the attackers at this point. As the crossbows can probably still do some good damage there. The archers are throwing everything they've got, and the archers for the Empire of Nicaea are pretty decent. But against, these other infantrymen, probably not decent enough. The Bulgarians just gleaming in the moonlight. Yeah, you can see their men are breaking now, so I think the attackers have got this one. They managed to get some polearms in the back right here. The archers are still firing off their last couple of shots. The cavalry, oh my god, it's a great cavalry charge against the pikemen there. Ripping them apart whilst they weren't in pike wall. That's to do some decent damage to them. Yeah, I think the battle is basically over. The Emperor is going to go in though, I think, for one last charge. I mean, maybe they could kill the Cuman general and the Bulgarian general, and then that could cause a mass rout. And this blob could do a really good job. I just don't see that happening though. The Emperor General? No, sorry, the Bulgarians are trying to go in, but he's just going to fall back. So I think the Emperor's General is going to be able to come out on top against the Cuman General. But I just don't think it's going to be enough, right? And yeah, now that this big blob of infantry have won, they can push through their halberds, continue to attack, and that's going to be a battle. The defenders have this one in the bag now, unless a meteorite was to come down from the sky and clear out the rest of the forces, if God was to intervene. But I think that he will not this day. And the defenders will take this battle. I believe the Age of Empires 2 mission that is based on this battle was actually you play as the Cumans trying to break the siege. So that's kind of cool that it kind of played out that way, which was really, really cool. But yeah, the battle's going to run up, and just the last couple of men are going to hold. The Emperor himself is going to go down in this engagement. Fighting bravely, but yeah, just not enough. Came very close, though, honestly. If they could have done maybe a bit more damage outside the settlement, and slowed up the Cumans and managed to maybe break up a decent portion of the Bulgarians here, I think they would have done a great job of winning the day, honestly, because there's really not much left. And also, if they would have, if they were able to also use that Greek fire as well, who knows what could have happened in that. But we're just going to get kind of a mass rout here as the last couple units break. And oh boy, man, that was a very, very good replay. It was a long one for sure, but when replays are that good, I'm more than happy to do long battles. So if we take a look at the forces, we can see that the Mongols deployed 4,000, the Empire of Nicaea deploying 5,500, the Bulgarians deployed 6,000. That was mainly down to probably these dogs and the rest of the peasants that they brought to the battle. So that was pretty crazy. So let's see, did anyone get like an insane amount of kills? That makes me sad. The Greek fire unit, 0 kills. Makes me very sad. So the javelins, 300 kills, 200 kills, pretty goddamn nice. Everyone else doing okay. Over on the Mongolian side of things, again, doing okay. The artillery pretty nice, and the gunners getting an okay amount of kills. And 100, 200 kills on the archers is always nice. The Cumans, how many kills? Anything too crazy? Bunch of 100 kills. The general getting over 200, which is great. And then finally, the Bulgarians doing pretty nice as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this battle. If you did, drop a like and a comment. Massive shout out to everyone who played in this battle. Thank you very much for the replay. I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.